What's going on, everybody? Salute to everybody that is currently in the chat. If you have not done so already, make sure y'all go ahead and like the stream. Make sure you most definitely go ahead and share the stream. Let everybody know that we are live. I'm going to go ahead and do the same. Let's see, who do we have in here so far? Let's see. Shout out to Alana B, Lady First, Darlene, Quasi, and that's all that's in here so far. It's going on some chick named Star Court 03. Share the stream. I will greatly appreciate it. You know, it's so weird to me. It feels like it's crazy how the notifications can go out like crazy for my live streams, but whenever my premiere videos come up, which is basically the half version of a live stream, those notifications rarely ever go out. But you know, I know that's just this platform is doing yet again. It's that time of the year. I think I get shadow banned like 3 times a year. And this is like round 2 for me. What's going on? Radio 331, Edward Green, Michelle W. Vulcan 2054, Leo Johnson, Peak Browteak, Shannon, Yashua. What's going on, everybody? Action, God of Harmon. Shout out to everybody in the stream. I hope everybody had a good week. It's been another hot week. Like literally here where I'm at, it's been in the 90s all week. It's been raining like crazy too. We had a crazy storm where I was at yesterday. Hopefully, if it's gonna rain again today, hopefully it does it after the stream is over. Because if the power goes out, that's it. We have, of course, another round of topics to discuss today. If I don't talk about something today, 9 times out of 10, it'll be talked about in an upcoming video. So I know it's probably gonna be some things y'all probably like saying, I hope he discusses, I hope he talk about. And if I don't talk about it, it's because I already recorded a video about it. And that commentary will be coming within the next couple of days. Like I said, when it comes to the live stream, these are topics that I just purposely waited until today to discuss with you. Whether it's updates to something I've already talked about or something I haven't talked about yet. And I'm gonna do the live stream a little bit different today and going forward. Y'all know how I will always open up tabs to the different stories and everything like that. Well, I'm not gonna do that going forward, mainly because when I realize when I have a whole bunch of tabs open, it slows down. Like it takes time for the tab to open because there's so many tabs open up at one time. Especially when I'm streaming. So I'm gonna just stick to being on this particular page and then just go from topic to topic while I'm on this I guess you can say this page, this stream. Except for when it's something I have to talk about on Twitter and I have to show something, and that's actually going to be the case today with I think a couple of topics I'm going to discuss, in which I'm gonna have to go to Twitter to talk about because it's something that you actually have to see for yourself that I just can't talk about. I want you to actually see it, especially one thing in particular, which is actually going to be the last thing I talk about. What's going on, Bishop? I'm just waiting for a few more people to get in here. So far, it says I have 80 people watching. Y'all know I like to get started when I have 100. So we need 20 more people in here, and then we will be good to go. Leo Johnson, let me look that up right quick. I just Googled that Leo Johnson. I didn't even know what that was until you told me. I'm gonna look at I'll look at the trailer for it after the stream is over. But right now I'm looking at the cast and it looks like it'll be pretty decent. I see that Jordan Peele is attached to it as an executive producer. But I'll look at it. It looks like it takes place back in Jim Crow based on the synopsis. Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing, Alana B. What echo? Because everyone else would have, if there was an echo, everybody would have said it was an echo in here, and they were the only ones that said it. Maybe it's an echo on their end. Okay, we are at 91 people. We only need 9 more people, and we can get started. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, Ash, I don't think there's an echo. It might be an echo on that person's end, but it wasn't an echo on my end at all, or on anyone else's end. I should say I wouldn't hear it because everything is fine on my end. I don't have the YouTube screen open. I'm on the StreamYard screen. What's going on, Danny L, Ness, Terrell, Marie Williams? Yeah, that's probably Alana B. That's probably what it is. They probably have multiple screens open. You're right about that, Edward Green, because right now it just went up one viewer, went to 92. Remember, I need it at 100. What's going on, G Rock? And salute to you. That sound great on my end. Okay, that's all that matters. Everyone else said it sounds good, so it's probably something on that person's end. And make sure if y'all haven't done so already, that y'all like the stream and share it. All right, we need 2 more people to just jump to 98. And shout out to my people that are watching from around the world. I see some people in here saying they from London. It's nice to know that I have people from around the globe that are watching me in various time zones because I know in London they are hours ahead of us. I know right now it's probably almost the next day over there if it isn't already. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. So they said that the person who was having the issue is good now. Oh, good. Now we had 112. Fine, good. Now we can go ahead and get started. And the first thing I wanted to talk about was hold on. Was an update with Breonna Taylor. Who has heard the latest update involving Breonna Taylor? In case y'all don't know what the latest update involving Breonna Taylor is, apparently it has recently come out that she was not dead completely when she was shot. Apparently, she was still alive. She was still breathing. She was still breathing after she was shot 8 times. But she was not rendered any aid. And then that's how she ended up dying. Just imagine if she was able to get aid within those 5 minutes, it might have been a chance to possibly save her life, or at least an attempt to save her life. So just imagine all the chaos that was going on in that house. I said, could you imagine if there were surveillance cameras in that house and all the chaos that ensued while all of that was happening, and you was able to see all of that? And then I think I read somewhere where they said Kenneth Walker was trying to call her mother and tell her what was going on while all of that was happening. So she died right there, pretty much bleeding out. She didn't die instantly, like we had all assumed. She was rendered no type of aid. And still to this day, the terrorists that are responsible for her murder, because that's what it is, have still not been criminally charged. And we know why. It's because of that goddamn corn shucking, tap dancing, jigaboom Cameron J. No, Daniel J. Cameron, and that mayor. It's a combination of both of them. And they refuse to do it. I just hope they know it's an election year. I just want them to know that. Yeah, because I recently did a video about how they went to their house, well, to his house, and they had protested, and he had all the protesters for the most part locked up, and most of the protesters were black. You want to know so crazy? She was an EMT. She dealt with helping to save lives on a daily basis, and nobody was there to help try to save her life. Isn't that crazy? That's weird. That's wild. She was in a line of work where she had to save people's lives, and no one was there to save hers. But they try to come up with so many reasons. Like I saw comments and everything like that saying, well, she should not have been dating someone involved with drugs and everything like that. That's just mainstream media putting that stuff out there. And of course, many, racist individuals want to peddle that so bad so they could try to give the terrorists an out or a reason to why they killed her. I actually saw that. I actually saw comments like that. But that's okay because those opioids are still doing them, and we may not be talking about it as much, but we know they are. We know them opioids are doing God's work right now. We know this. We know this. They know it too, and they feeling it. And of course, I recently talked about how there was a lot of gentrification happening in that area, and that's the reason that now they're going with as to why they killed this woman, to get her up out of there so they could, use quote unquote that area. But yeah, that's why I like that. And I've never been shot before, so I couldn't even speak on it. But just imagine you've been shot that many times and you're still alive and you're fighting for dear life and you can't do anything and you're literally gasping for air. And those are hard, and that's hard, and it's hard to breathe because I'm very sure that it hit places where she's bleeding out. It's probably hit a bunch of arteries. So I couldn't even imagine. But this is an ongoing saga with this story. It just is. But let me go ahead and move on to the next topic. Let me see what else I got going. Okay, let's talk about this. I'm sure by now y'all are already aware what's going on in Portland. In Portland, Oregon. They are just riding around right now, dressed up like they are in the military or, well, some quote unquote, and just snatching people up left and right, throwing them in vans and then driving them off to some unknown location. And sometimes you don't know what the hell happened to that person. Like, this is what 45 wants. And to my knowledge, none of these people who are dressed the way that they are being dressed like are even qualified to do the stuff that they're doing. But all they have to do is saying, look, we want you to go and get this person and that person and that person and this person or anyone that we deem to be suspicious or anything like that, and we want you to round them up and just toss them in the van and just drive somewhere. You don't ask no questions. Just go and do it. Oh, we're gonna talk about that too, Isaiah. Yeah, he sent them people to Portland and rounded all of them people up just because. Now, I remember I was going to talk about this in either my last live stream or a couple live streams ago, where in Virginia, in Richmond, Virginia, they were basically kind of doing the same thing, where they were just having people dressed up sort of like how these individuals are, and they were rounding people up and putting them in vans and then just tossing them, not just driving them off somewhere. Oh, this stuff is gonna. I have a feeling this thing is going to be widespread, and you already know what cities they are going or they're targeting for the most part. Mostly the heavily black populated cities. You already know which one is on their list. They've already talked about it, and that's Chicago. Because in case y'all didn't hear, recently they said they had some kind of a shooting at a funeral in Chicago recently, where they said like 14 people were shot. I even heard, I'm not sure if that's entirely true or not, that people that was attending the funeral even shot back at the people that were shooting. Now I don't know how true that is, but as far as them saying that 14 people were shot at a funeral, that was the report. Now we all know why they have been trying their hardest to get the military or any personnel like that into Chicago for the longest. They had literally been salivating to get up there into Chicago for the longest. But you know what's crazy? If y'all watched the video that I recently did earlier this week, when it was talking about how a lot of these quote unquote gang members happen to be in the police department, and I have brought y'all those those article screenshots showing how there were people there who are in gangs or have gang affiliations in Chicago. They even mentioned some of the gangs by name. I know one of them they said was the Gangster Disciples. He even had one that killed himself because he was scared of the repercussions. Yeah, I saw that, Jerome. They said that she at first was fighting against it, and then all of a sudden she backed down and said that now she's basically all for it now. I have a feeling this is not going to end the way that many of them wanted. But see, those are the people who like chaos. It's going to go the way that they want it. But for those who don't, it's going to end badly. But it's interesting though they want to send that element to those areas, but they're overlooking the areas that has a lot of opioid infested regions. Why aren't they sending those people out there to Ohio? Ohio is the hub. How many overdose stories have we heard coming from that state alone? I recently just did one where it said 15 people overdosed in like 72 hours. And they still don't solve all of those shootings that happen in Chicago. Now, if they do catch a suspect and they put them out there, notice that the people that they shot, it's not a large, massive amount of people that they claim that do all of these shootings. It's usually a very small bunch, like maybe one, two, maybe three, no more than five. And they will put the person's mugshot out there. They'll put their name out there. And I said, okay, that's believable. But when you say that it was 60 something shootings over the weekend and these amount of people died and there's still no arrest and no suspects, or they're still doing investigations, I'm like, does anybody not find that weird? Now watch what's going to happen. They're going to send all those people into Chicago to quote unquote clean up the place. Then the stuff is going to start to slowly go down, quote unquote. That's because the ones who's actually doing it are going to stop. It's all a setup. It's pretty much all a show right now. That's pretty much all it's going to be. Then that's when they're going to say, oh, see, 45 stuck to his word. So now, come November, we know who we're going to vote for. Notice all of this is going on during an election year. If the crime, quote unquote, goes down in Chicago, you don't hear about all these wild shootings like you usually do. And it's an election year. What's the real plan? It's to get reelected and claim and basically secure his victory and say that, oh, it's because of him. Meanwhile, all of this stuff was going on before an election year and not a damn thing happened. But ironically, you send the military in during the election year. And he has to find a way to save face because with everything going on with this virus, he is losing and spiraling out of control. Because he knows he's losing the people because of how he is mishandling this virus in this quote unquote pandemic. If you look at all the other nations and how they handled it compared to America, the United States, who was like the fourth or fifth place to get it, and how we just completely eclipsed everybody else. Like I said, it's all a part of the plan. Like the Joker said in The Dark Knight, it is all a part of the plan. I'm just reading through some of your comments right now. Because sometimes it's hard for me to read the comments and talk at the same time because I'll get sidetracked. But we'll see what happens come November. Like I said, I said we are screwed either way. No matter who gets back in or no matter who gets in. We are screwed either way. Let me move on to the next one. Appreciate you, Gold Professor, to supporting the channel. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, let me move on to now. This is the one right here. I got to sit up for this one. I got a little comfortable, but this is the one right here. Everybody has been wanting me to talk about. I won't be surprised that my view count jumps up a little bit when I start saying their name. And that is the curious case of, yes, I did, Stephanie. I did hear about that. That's going to be in another video, so I'm not going to talk about that here on the stream. And that's going to, oh, shout out to Kevin Wedderburn. He says, just like the White Knight, he needs a big push. But the next person I'm going to talk about is none other than the curious case of Kanye West. I know y'all have been anxious for me to talk about this. I'm sure y'all probably like wondering what's taking Torian so long to talk about this, especially since it happened at more so the beginning of the week. I think it was this past Sunday that just passed. And it's crazy because that was one of the first topics that I had in my list of things to discuss for this week. And all of his antics that occurred in just one day. Joy said, not she said, not really. Well, it's been some people that wanted me to talk about it. I'll say that. But like I said, this is probably going to be the only time I'll talk about him on this topic right here. Like I said, the live stream is nothing more than a dump day for me. Now I'm gonna talk about it. I rarely even talked about it on Twitter. Like I probably made like a maybe 3 posts about it, and that was it. But I'm gonna talk about it right here. See, I figured talk about it right here, then I won't have to talk about it again. Because I try not to do pre-recorded videos about him anymore, at least. So, as y'all know, Kanye West recently had a rally in South Carolina in which he claims he is running for president. And I said, I thought he dropped out of the race. I didn't know he was still running. I thought he dropped out. I thought it was kind of odd that he would put himself in there, especially this late in the game, but whatever. And one of my followers on Twitter and said, nope, he's still running. He said he got like a 2% push or something like that. I said 2%. And then they posted the article because I thought they were joking when they said that. And sure enough, they sent me the article and said he got a 2% push. I said, okay, whatever. So he has his rally. I think it was this past Sunday. And let me tell y'all something. That was very, very, very hard to watch in more ways than one. Like it was cringy. And then it's like, wow, like what the hell happened between like what happened to the Kanye West that I grew up listening to back in the early 2000s when I was in high school? Like that's a far cry from him back then. It's like looking at a whole different person now. It's like, am I listening to the same Kanye West who's like legit like off his rocker, or is this a clone and the old Kanye West is somewhere out in limbo somewhere? And it was one person had wanted me to talk about this. They had asked me could I speak about this one part that happened during his rant, because I really don't want to call it a rally because I don't know what the hell it was, where he was addressing, I forgot what it was, but it involved a black woman that was there, and she was asking him a question or something like that. And the way that he addressed her almost reminds me of how 45 addresses certain people when they are asking him questions at his press conferences and how standoffish he can be. I cannot remember for the life of me what it was. And he had tagged me in the post, but I can't find it because that was a few days ago. And you know, the posts get boggled down. And then something else happened and it was a white woman that had got up on stage and said something, and it came off like she was being standoffish towards him, and he was more consoling of her than he was of the black woman. Like it was just really weird. It was really, and I think also what boggled people's minds was when he said what he said about Harriet Tubman, when he said that she didn't really free the slaves. She just sent them to another part of America to go work for white people. I was like, okay. Yeah. And doesn't he have an album coming out? Someone has said or alluded to that he has an album coming out. If he has an album coming out, then he's doing all of this for attention. He's doing all this to bring attention to this album that he allegedly has coming out. Because I've heard that he has an album coming out. Nikki, you're probably right. He probably, for all intents and purposes, is trolling. But it's something else he did that really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And it's like, I can't believe you actually said that. And Quasi, you actually just alluded to it, but I'm going to mention it. When he said the part in his rant about how he wanted to have his first child, Northwest, aborted. That's when it got really, really, really strange for me. Like, why would you say that at a rally that you're supposed to be doing and what you're trying to quote unquote run for president? Why would you mention that to complete strangers? Like, that's something that stays more in house. Because I was wondering why Kim Kardashian was mad with him when it came to their child. And when I found out it was that, I was like, whoa. Because apparently it said that he had wanted her to get an abortion and she didn't want to get an abortion. Of course, clearly that didn't happen because their daughter is here. So that really took me for a loop. I'm like, how much else are you about to spill out to us right now? Because I don't think you can get much more deeper than that, but then maybe you can. Then it was a whole thing where it said that Kim and Kris Jenner wanted to have him locked up, and it was just a lot going on. It's a lot to unpackage with that one. But then I think they said Kim had finally came out and admitted that he does have bipolar disorder. I said, well, they finally decided to admit it because many of us had already alluded to that, what he probably had. And I said, if he has bipolar disorder, one, he needs to be put in an institution right away and seek a lot of help. A lot of help. And we're talking about at least a year's worth of assistance. Make sure that he's on the proper medication and that he's taking it. Because at that point, he is not fit to be anybody's president. Like you can't even run your household, and I highly doubt that he does. I bet you that when it comes to the Kardashians, we know who's running things over there. We know Kris Jenner is running things. That's why I always keep telling her. I keep saying that she is the supreme. What's going on until the Q? And shout out to you. He said Kanye West, Lamar Odom, Reggie Bush, Miles Austin, Chris Humphries, Ray J, Blake Griffin, Ben Simmons have suffered the Kardashians Jenner witch coven curse. Tristan Thompson and James Harden are the only ones that escape. I keep telling people that is a coven over there. But yeah, that Kardashian curse is definitely real. I peeped that a while ago. You said he admitted to stop taking his meds. He didn't have to admit to us that he stopped taking them. We can clearly see that he has. Like, his life is literally spiraled out of control. And a lot of people say that he is a very deep person. He's woke, he's intellectual, and everything like that. For all intents and purposes, it could be some messages hitting there in the rants that he gives, but it's hard to decipher for most people because he's all over the place. He doesn't stay firm on one topic. It's like he's at one place 1 minute, he's at another place the next minute, and another place another minute. He reminds me of the character Split. You know that movie Split? He kind of reminds me of that. but he definitely needs some kind of assistance, but he needs to do it away, first of all, from those Kardashians. That's first and foremost. And people always ask, where's his family? Like, where is his family? Like, where is the family on his mom's side? And that's a good question because we never hear him talk about that side of his family. We only ever see him being attached to the Kardashians, the Kardashian Jenner clan. So we don't know where his other family is. And you know what's so funny too? The only time we ever hear about his other side of his family is when his mother is mentioned. Like, notice every time people say what happened with Kanye, they say Kanye West hasn't been the same since his mom died. It's always about his mother. But we never hear about his dad. We never hear about if he has any siblings, any aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, none of that. We only hear about his mother. It's almost like that was the only family he had. But I don't know. But he just needs to definitely sit down somewhere and reevaluate everything that he has going on right now. 225 girl, that's the thing. We don't know what that's the thing. We never hear about anyone else on his other side of his family, like his blood side, except his mother. We never hear about his dad or any other person on that side. It's almost as if they don't exist. As a matter of fact, whenever I see pictures like, of Kanye West and, Kim and her family, it's always him with their family. But notice, you never see pictures of Kanye West and Kim with his family. I've noticed that. You never see pictures of Kanye West and Kim with his family. He compared himself to the character from the movie Get Out. He said that he felt like he was the main character. I don't know if Jordan Peele has come out and has spoken about uh his claim that he was, but what if he is? And I also thought it was weird then. Like, it was a lot of crazy moments with 45. I mean, not 45, with Kanye West. When he said that Trump was like a father figure to him. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, have you seen how 45 deals with his children? This is the same guy that said that if Ivanka was not my daughter, I would sleep with her. Are you sure you want that as a father figure? And 225 girl, based on the comments you just said, look at how long ago that was. You know how long Kanye West been in the industry? And you said that was at the beginning of his success. So look how many years ago that was. That had to be back in the early 2000s. And I mean early 2000s. And we are in 2020. But at the end of the day, Kanye West made I guess you can say, conscious decision to marry into that family. You got to be careful with messing with them Kardashians, because when you marry one, it's like you're marrying all of them. You don't just get married to the person that you say I do to. You're saying I do to the entire family, to that entire clan, in all of their BS. So all I'm saying is, for those of you, for those who want to tread over there, tread lightly, or don't tread at all. As a matter of fact. But let me move on from Kanye West and move over to someone who needs to be in his damn roommate at that mental facility. And I echoed that on Twitter. And that's August Alsina. Now, I didn't really talk much about him when I was doing my discussion about Jada and Will when they went and had the discussion at the Red Table Talk about the entanglement. And it's interesting that I mentioned something about an entanglement right now because that's actually going to be the focal point of this discussion. Speaking of entanglement, y'all want to know what this fool did? This this guy, August Alsina, is quite the funny person. He actually came out with a song called Entanglement. Now, I have not listened to the song. People who said that they have listened to the song said that the song actually sounded good, but I did not listen to the song. But he did the song with Rick Ross. Now, I'm going to read to y'all the lyrics and y'all put it together for yourself. Now, this is the chorus part that I'm reading. The definition of entanglement is when you're tangled in the sheets. Girl, I know that we don't call it a relationship, but you're still fucking with me. Entanglements is when you're tangled in the sheets. Entanglement is when you're tangled up with me. Entanglements is when you're getting in too deep. Tangled up with me, tangled in them sheets. Now, that was the chorus. Oh, we all knew who he was talking to. Come on now. He made the song called Entanglements, and it came out after after Jada said entanglement. Now I'm gonna read his part, his verse. I skipped over Rick Ross' part. Rick Ross had the first verse, but August Alsina comes in with the second one. He says, I'm being honest, baby. Don't want no strings attached. You just want a nigga that's gonna break your back. He said, break your back in half. No, I ain't about to play with that. You left your man to fuck with me just to pay him back. Don't you know that's too cold hearted? Once you gone, no coming back. Girl, you fucking with a youngin'. I be doing shit you like. Don't do talking when I see you. All you hear is love sounds. Going round for round. You want a nigga that take you down. That this is a special bond, but it ain't true. That's the second verse, y'all. That's the second verse. There's a third one. The third one says, I'm on my way. I'm a pull up when he dip. He's always thinking me and you fucking. If he sees me, he gonna trip. House with no key. Girl, I know I fucked up your hair. Lay you down and hit it right there. Lay you down and hit it right there. That ain't my girl, but I got the key to the crib and to your car, to the crib and to her heart. She don't want to label shit, but she needs me in her life. I don't have to label shit to fit in her life. Lifestyle, we gonna keep it popping, shawty. You my little secret. Just took the lingerie around you, taking off next weekend. Know it's wrong, but it feels right. Know it's wrong, but it feels right. Damn it, Jada, what did you do? Oh my god. Woo! I'm not even gonna lie. Just reading the lyrics make me want to go and listen to the song. And I haven't listened to the song yet, like I told you. That's pretty much the whole song. The other part goes back into the chorus in which I already read. But man, he made a whole damn song about that. She put it on him good, apparently. She put it on him. Like, damn. He, Jada must have got that Erica Badu, because you know what happens when you mess with Erica Badu. You know they get a little messed up too. But he damn. I wonder if Will Smith going to do a response to that. I wonder if you right about that, Brian. He gonna have a Jada lookalike in the video. Should he make a video about this on this song? But I had told somebody before. I said if Will was that type of person, he has enough money if he wanted to make August quote unquote disappear. If he wanted to. But that would look too obvious if he did it right now. It's too late in the game. It looked too obvious. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Like that's our little comedy part of the stream right here. I don't think anything else I'm gonna talk about is going to be even remotely funnier than that. But I said I hadn't. Believe it or not, y'all, this is my first time reading the lyrics. I saved reading the lyrics until today. But you know what? Do you, I guess. That's all I gotta say is do you. Well, let me move on to the next part right here. And I'm gonna have to pull up my Google on my phone for this one. So y'all heard about the judge in New Jersey whose son was killed and her husband was shot at when they were trying to kill her a couple days ago, and how she was the one that's linked to everything that's going on with Ghislaine Maxwell and all types of stuff like that. I said it was so blatantly obvious they trying to silence this woman, trying to silence this woman because they already know they are shook. They are shook right now. The suspected gunman who killed Judge Esther Salas' son disparaged her as a Latina. I'm trying to find the article that's talking about the actual shooting itself. But they did give away the shooter's name. They said his name is Roy Den Hollander, and he was an anti-feminist lawyer, and he was the one suspected of it. And it's crazy because they said he was wearing a FedEx uniform when they found him. Yeah, I did hear her husband's in critical condition. The son did get killed. The son did die. And the excuse me. And the husband, last I heard, was in critical condition. But yeah, that was definitely a hit. Like if they have to try to guess if it was or if it wasn't, I don't know why. It's pretty blatantly obvious. And it's obvious also why they wanted to have her taken out. I just hope that she doesn't stand down or she doesn't get scared. Maybe they're just gonna have to put her in some kind of witness protection program or something like that until this trial gets started, because they're not gonna stop coming after her. And also the judge, the attorney that did it, they said that they found him dead. They said that he killed himself, and I put that in air quotes too, because I wouldn't be surprised if they had to tie up some loose ends and they had to make sure to get him up out of there today. Like, look, you tried and you failed, because really his mission was to, in my opinion, kill her. And if she's alive, then he failed his mission. Okay, let's see. It says what we know about Roy Den Hollander, anti-feminist lawyer suspected of killing the judge's son. They said he was a self-described anti-feminist lawyer who flooded the courts with seemingly frivolous lawsuits that sought to eliminate women's studies programs and prohibit nightclubs from holding ladies' nights. Now I'm gonna be honest. I never knew anti-feminist attorneys existed. I never knew those existed until now. It says in one of his most recent cases, he openly seethed against a federal judge in New Jersey, Esther Salas, who he seemed to describe. Who he described in a self-published 1,700-page book as a lazy, incompetent Latina judge appointed by Obama. Den Hollander left the case in which he challenged the male-only U.S. military draft last summer, telling a lawyer who replaced him that he had terminal cancer. On Sunday afternoon, Den Hollander showed up at Salas' home in North Brunswick, New Jersey, and fired multiple gunshots, killing the judge's son and seriously wounding her husband, who was a criminal defense lawyer. The judge, who was in the basement at the time, was not injured. Well, that's what pretty much saved her life. It says the New York State Police found Den Hollander's body near Liberty, New York, about a 2-hour drive from the judge's house, from home, after he shot himself in an apparent suicide. It says the startling sequence of events was a reminder of the dangers encountered by judges who typically do not receive special security outside the courthouse unless they face specific threats. Salas worked in one of the busiest courthouses in the country, overseeing dozens of cases at a time, involving a wide range of defendants and litigants. The FBI Monday contacted New York State Chief Judge Janet M. DeFore to notify her that Den Hollander had her name and photo in his car. He was following her. He was keeping tabs on this woman. It says the agents did not indicate whether Den Hollander had intended to target her as well. Investigators were exploring whether Den Hollander had decided to, quote unquote, take out some of his enemies, given his cancer diagnosis before he died. Den Hollander, age 72, identified with a broader movement of men who, in often abusive, misogynist, and hateful language, railed against feminazis. He wrote numerous online screeds, some of which exceeded 1,000 pages. Den Hollander had a long history of filing lawsuits against programs that he believed favored women. In 2008, he told the New York Times that his anger toward feminists stemmed from his bitter divorce from a woman he married in Russia. He called women the real oppressors in a 2008 Fox News appearance and wrote online about his grievances against female judges. When investigators discovered Den Hollander's body, they found a package nearby that was addressed to Salas. According to a law enforcement official, the package was empty. Carlos Salas, the older brother of Esther Salas, described an account of the shooting that he said was provided to him by federal authorities. After the doorbell rang, the couple's son opened the door and was shot. When the judge's husband went up to see what happened, he was shot multiple times. The judge ran upstairs from the basement when she heard a scream and the gunshots. The judge's husband, Mark Anderol, age 63, was in the hospital in stable condition. Okay, so he's in stable condition, y'all. Because remember, they said that he was in critical, but now it says he's in stable. They must have been critical at one point. It says Daniel I'm sorry, I skipped ahead. It says the couple's son and only child, Daniel, died from a gunshot wound to the heart. Daniel was about to start his junior year at Catholic University of America in Washington and was interested in pursuing a legal career as his parents had. Well, that's crazy. Like, a whole family full of lawyers and judges and attorneys. It says it's surreal. He was a vibrant, young, good-looking man. He had so much promise. The FBI had been conducting the investigation with the U.S. Marshals alongside other federal and local authorities. A spokesman for FedEx said in a statement that the company was fully cooperating with the authorities in their investigation. It says two law enforcement officials cautioning that the investigation was in its earliest stages said federal authorities were examining whether Den Hollander might be linked to the July 11th killing of another men's rights lawyer, Mark Angelucci, in San Bernardino County, California. He was shot at his front door by a gunman wearing a FedEx uniform. So it's almost like they copied each other. Okay, I'm gonna pretty much end it right there because it's a a very lengthy article. But y'all pretty much get the gist of it. Like, it's a very weird story. It's a very wild story. But it doesn't. There's no doubt in my mind that um this was an intended hit. Like, we see what cases that she was over, and I saw someone had left a comment in here. I'm trying to remember what they had said. It was some case that she was also over. It was another big case as well, but I can't find it because it probably scrolled up a little bit. Yes, and they said that this guy was 72. But yeah, it's just that her son just happened to be a casualty in all of this. But no one expects to open up a door and then on the other side of the door somebody's there with a gun, or even from a distance. Because I don't know if he was close range or not, because it didn't say he came into the house. So I think he probably shot from a distance. But yeah, that's wild. But I hope it doesn't make her back down from the case at all, because many of us on the outside looking in want this information. The son was 20. The shooter was 72. His dad, I think they said his dad was 63. His dad is still alive though. They say he's in stable condition. Okay, I see it right here. Cam Hart said who she was the judge for. And I think someone said she used to be on Real Housewives or something like that. So that's probably how she got her name up there. But let me go ahead and move on to the next story. This one right here, I was debating on whether or not I was gonna do it as a pre-recorded video, or a put it into a form of this live stream. And I said I'll talk about it in the live stream because I probably won't stay on it for very long, but it's something that I did want to address. Who has heard about these things that they have coming out called death waivers? Tell me if you heard about something that they have coming out called death waivers. Put a one in the chat if you have heard about them. Say anything pertaining to that terminology I just used. Okay, so I see a couple of ones. I see people in here that say they haven't heard of it. Okay. So in case y'all don't know what these death waivers are, basically it has something to do with the schools reopening. And basically what they want to do is, if they open up the schools and they're pushing very hard for the schools to open up, they're basically making it where if they open up the schools on a physical front where the kids have to go inside of the classroom, they're going to make it where the parents and possibly even their kids are going to have to sign. What's going on, Terry? Are going to have to sign something called a death waiver, that basically says if they catch the virus and they die from it, the school, the county, the state, the superintendent, the school board is not responsible for their child dying. They cannot be held liable if something happens to their child. What's going on, Mark? That's basically what it is. I remember having to sign. It's basically like an insurance form. I remember having to sign one of those when on my 25th birthday back in 2014. I went skydiving. Yes, I went skydiving for my 25th birthday. That's something I had decided I wanted to do on my 24th birthday. And you had to basically sign a form just basically saying, look, if the parachute don't open, we at such and such skydiving academy are not held liable should you die. As you can see, I'm still here. But I trust that a whole lot more than I trust this. And what's scary about this whole death waiver thing is, what if they try to make it mandatory to make your kids go back to school and they kind of force it even more? When I saw that, oh, so you just, they don't want to say no responsibility if something happens to their child. But see, that all goes back into what I said about this economy. And see, no one's really trying to like deal with, with everything that's going on. It's people out there that say, I'm good with doing the virtual learning, as it stands right now, for the safety of the students and the kids and everything like that. Because it's a cycle. If you want to send your kids back out there in a mixture of other children, and one of them possibly has it, you can infect an entire school. And then what's going to happen is they're going to bring that home to their parents, and then they'll get exposed, and then you're gonna be right back at ground zero. This goes, like I said, this goes all the way back to uh, when I say that there was a huge lack of leadership when it comes to how this quote unquote pandemic was handled, or not handled, I should say. Remember, 45 is the same person that said, oh, this will be cleared up by Easter. He said that while we was maybe 2 or 3 weeks into this thing. This will be cleared up by Easter because we got to get the people back in the church. Okay, Easter is past. Oh, this will be gone by the summertime. Numbers keep going up, and we're already a month into summer. And the crazy part about it is, it's July getting ready to go into August. Guess what season is right around the corner? Fall. What's going on, Dark Void? For the most part, right? Exactly, Quasi. This is the perfect time to do the homeschooling thing. But see, there's also going to be a tough thing too. Like, what if people, I'll put it this way, we are about to see the rise of teleworking. I'll say it again. We are about to see the rise of teleworking and the death of the 40-hour work week. I called that a couple years ago. I said, I feel like the 40-hour work week is about to come to an end. It's just that I didn't expect it to be from this. But then again, who was going to predict this? It's going to be a lot of people teleworking and a lot of less people going into work. Or people going to be working. It's going to be a lot of more part-time people or a lot of contractors and everything like that. But I'm sure a lot of people won't mind it because that means the companies will be able to save money. And at this point, they need to try to save money because do you see how many people have filed for unemployment? Do you see how many businesses had to file for bankruptcy? And we're talking about businesses that have been around for years who usually on average make millions of dollars a year. You want to know what's going to be even crazy? And I didn't think about that until now. I don't participate in it, but Black Friday this year is going to be looking real spooky. And by spooky, I mean it's going to look like damn near like a ghost town. Because nobody going to be out there standing in line, especially when they have to do quote unquote social distancing. I'll say this, online shopping is going to go through the roof this year in November around that time. Amazon going to be, I know Jeff Bezos is probably smiling from ear to ear just even thinking about it right now. He probably already thought about it. He like, damn, we about to make a few more billions. this year, up more than last year. And then, like Reve said, he said Target not doing Black Friday. I'll take it a step further. It's probably going to be a lot of stores that's not going to participate in it. And like I said, if they do any type of deals, all this stuff is going to be online based. See, some people saying in the chat that stores like Walmart are going to be closed on this year when that time comes around, and that never happens. It's going to be real different this year, real different. We'll see. You will see it. And usually Black Friday, that's usually good for the retail stores, but think about it. They really did not make any money this year outside of the first 2.5 months, which was January and February. And let's be real here. The economy for retail stores is not good at the beginning of the year. And the point of Black Friday is for them to make up money that they lost. They lost so much money that even if they did do Black Friday, they wouldn't be able to recoup even a small percentage of the money that they lost this year. They lost so much revenue this year that having Black Friday would be pointless anyway. You made a good point. That Black businesses are actually doing very well right now. That is a plus. I'm sorry for the pause. I was reading something. That is a plus. Black-owned businesses are actually doing fairly well. But because they don't have a media circuit to push their businesses, you would never know. That's why whenever I do videos talking about Black-owned businesses, that's me giving them free publicity. They're not sponsoring me to talk about them. I'm just giving them free publicity because I want them to be put out there. I don't have a big platform, like say a CNN or MSNBC or that other network that I'm not going to mention by name to really give them the push, but I do what I can with what I have. And it's up to you as my audience to help push that. Like when I posted that video about that woman's syrup, I had people come back and tell me that they've had it before or they went and ordered some. So apparently it's working. Right. He said, so instead of endless commercials, we'll have endless emails being harassed to buy their stuff. Right. You're gonna have all these catalogs. Remember back in the day, they used to send you them catalogs in the mail, like them big thick catalogs. I remember they used to have that big toy book for Toys R Us that they would send to your house for your kid. I remember my parents getting those when I was younger, and they used to have that big catalog with all those toy deals in them. Well, if you want to call it a deal back then, if you use the prices of back then today, that would be considered a deal because you have to adjust for inflation. I actually ordered some of that syrup today, as a matter of fact. I ordered it today. So I don't know when it's going to come, and I should be getting it soon, hopefully next week. Shout out to Solo Dose. The Black media should advertise Black business, and Black businesses should support Black media. I agree. And shout out to Nicole's View because I know sometimes she actually has people who actually slide her a little something to advertise on her channel. So shout out to her. Actually supported 3 Black businesses in the last day. In the last day. One of them is hair product based. The others is 2 food product based. And I'm thinking about possibly making a video where I talk about each of those products when they come in the mail. One of them I've actually already used before, but I'm gonna probably make that into a video, which is something I've never done before. basically talking about each of the products because they don't get the push that they should. Like I said, because we don't own or have our own media outlet like that, they don't get the push that they deserve to get. And that's unfortunate. All right, shout out to Solo Dolo again, one of the biggest contributors to my channel. He says supporting Black media and Black business is a part of the code. You're right about that. All right, now I want to move on. Now, what I'm going to talk about is going to actually involve me having to open up my Twitter page. As a matter of fact, the last couple of discussions I'm going to talk about is going to involve my Twitter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Twitter right quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Shout out to J Dog. He says I sometimes do a segment called Black in Business where I talk about Black businesses, and I have a playlist of different videos of that segment. Well, shout out to you. Talking and Grubbing, the name of the syrup company is called Michelle. If you Google Michelle Hoskins, her name is going to come right up in the top of the Google, and you just click it and you can go and buy it. The syrup is actually very affordable, by the way. And she has like I think she has like 3 different versions. She might have more when it comes to that. So let me go ahead and share my screen right quick so we can discuss this because I actually been waiting to talk about this one. Let me know if y'all can see my screen right quick. Let me know if y'all can see my screen. And if y'all can't find the Michelle Hoskins, I actually recently did a video about her. The name of the video was called Bye Aunt Jemima, Hello Michelle Hoskins. That was the name of the video. I think I did it last week. So on my screen right here, as you can see, this is my Twitter account right here. Follow me in case y'all haven't done so already. And I highly recommend that you do follow me because when I post on Twitter and you turn the notification on, you will get notified every post that I make. Unlike on this platform where they rarely like to send out the notifications like they should, y'all can go right on ahead and do that. But anyway, this actually was posted on July 20th, which was 4 days ago, in response to a tweet that this person made, whose name is Melissa. And she made this post on July 19th, which was the day before. And shout out to Talking and Grubbing. Says Tareen, appreciate the work you put in. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the supporters that I have, the subscribers, all of that, because y'all are the lifeline of my channel. But I wanted to talk about this tweet right here that really, really got me. So I said, first I'm going to read to you what I said, and then I'm going to read to you what she said, because it was a whole thread. It says, Dear Black men who love Karen and Becky, Hannah and Heather, Anna and Alyssa, look at this thread and see the crap they are spewing. And if you are a BW, which is a Black woman, backing this stuff up, you can go straight to hell with this filth. Now I'm going to click on here so you can see what this person said. They said, why are so many Black men, now this is a white woman here. He said, why are so many Black men horrifically violent toward women? I see it so often on here. Videos people post, images that Black people post on Twitter as they brag about the violence. It is creepy. Now, this is coming from a white woman here. Now here you have this white guy here who said fatherless boys become violent men. 6 out of the 7 deadliest mass shootings in U.S. history were done by fatherless males. Abuse rates way higher against women and kids. 65% black boys don't have a dad. Meanwhile, how many mass shootings have we seen in the last year, and how many of them were done by white males? It's interesting that they say that. Oh, so this is actually how I found out about the tweet because once someone had tagged me in this post right here. They said, "Hold on 1 second," and they put my name. It says, "Did this fool just try to blame black men for mass shootings? Are you mad? Who shot up the country music festival in Las Vegas in 2017? Was it a black man? Was Dylan the mass murderer Roof black? Who gunned down people in El Paso at 11 a.m.?" At a supermarket, a 21-year-old white guy named Patrick Cruces from Allen, Texas. How about the 2019 Dayton shooting? Or the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting, Nashville Waffle House shooting, the Santa Fe High School shooting? Do you want me to go on? And they just went into a whole thing. They was tearing into them to that person. And then you have this other Karen right here who was responding to the first Karen and say, because they hate us, plain and simple. Like they literally started to dig in and start to come in and start to talk about this. Now here's where it gets interesting. We have our first divester, and what does she have? A blue check. Now on the screen is white because I have the dark feature on my screen. Otherwise, if it was white, it would be blue. This person named Sharika Soul, who said because they are literally stupid. This other Karen said they are violent toward anyone they can beat. The only time that they are not violent is when they are afraid to get beat. So just like animals. Let's see what else they said. Here's another one who is a divester. Now pay attention to this. The y'all about to get a glimpse into the divest community today. In case y'all, because I've talked about them before, but I've never shown y'all how they get down. They said 95%. I think it's about 70%, and that's still too high. Let's see. This person said 95% of them grew up on the street with no fathers. The men are cowards. It will not bear responsibility of working and raising kids. I have seen it over and over. It's in their culture for generations. They said, here's another. I'm not sure if this person is white or if they're a divester. It says, please let me know QTNA. Since January 2020, over 934 black women have been killed, overwhelmingly by their partners or someone they know. Maybe now a black woman notices, never mind. Black women get gaslit when we speak on these issues. Let me give y'all a tip. If you on Twitter and you see a woman whose page says pro-black woman, she's a divester. This person right here, another white woman. People get pissed when I say this. If you listen to Sad H Guru JV, he talks about how every cell in our body holds memory. Black men come from generations of being beaten. Still to this day, some still get beaten. If they don't consciously work to change it, it will live in their DNA. Let's see here. Now, here's one from a person that follows me on here. Shout out to Black Knight because they send me some good articles. They said, I have a better question. Why keep seeing white men assaulting, raping, beating, murdering women, and molesting children and stalking women? Because never in the history of America's Most Wanted, YouTube, and Ted Bundy have we seen videos of them doing the deed. Oh, and To Catch a Predator forgot about the prime examples. Someone else said, they said, I think it's super funny when white people try to answer the why when it comes to a black person. How about you ask black men only so you can actually get the real answer? Because there is a list, and it's more than them being cowards or being raised without a father. So some people in here was clapping back at her, but you had a lot of people that was going along with what she was saying. And I think she did that to really try to get people riled up and to go on the whole anti-black man bashing trip. Now let's look at this one here. This one, she actually engaged in a conversation with a divester. And this one's name is Janessa. She said, lack of fathers in the home, morals and values, being a provider and protector is not installed. And let me click on this. That Melissa chick, the one who made the original post, said, Janessa, I'm curious, what's your thoughts on how society has grown away from family values in general and how we might be able to turn that around? It's very prevalent in white families too. Then why didn't you talk about white families? Why did you pinpoint out black men? See, she did that to get people riled up. She knew what she was doing, and people fell for a hook, line, and sinker. But I wanted y'all to see that. Now, what I'm about to do is click on something else that was sent to me. Pay attention to this. If y'all made it this far, congratulations. I know some of y'all probably like, I can't bear to listen to this anymore. Now, this person made this post, and I said I want to make sure that y'all saw this. It said divestors are reactionary, right wing, not often always right wing, by the way. Often self-described black feminist womanists who advocate total divestment from the liberation struggle of black people, mainly black men, a view they justify primarily via white supremacist and anti-black misandric reasonings. Then they pulled up this chart, or they made this chart. Now, on the far left, it says right-wing conservative black feminists, also known as divestors, similar to first-wave white feminists. And on the right, white supremacists. And what they put into the middle was basically the combination of how each of them feel about when it comes to black people, or mainly black men. Let's start at the top. Black men are inherently inferior or prone to violence. Pro-capitalism. Both believe in criminogenic theories on stereotypes of black male deviants, also known examples: absent fatherhood, unintelligent, lower functioning. Believes the ideal family structure is Eurocentric, not Afrocentric. And you can look at the BLM website and it backs it up. Ideal masculinity, patriarchal, only white men can be that. Believes ideal femininity, hegemonic, virtuous, dainty, like white women. Now, this is talking about coming from the divestors. Advocates white men, black women, interracial relationships. Some white supremacists endorse this to combat low white women birth rates, white genocide, and black male phallic hatred. Divestors to combat low likelihood of marriage, partners to breed out black men. Supports the police state, mass incarceration, and state violence against black men. Now, all of this from this side right here is indicative to your divester. Meanwhile, when it comes to the white supremacists, they says indifferent supportive of black male genocide, sees white men as the most civilized and developed group. Let me see something. And they basically pulled it from here. Now, let me tell you something. This Melissa chick, the one who made this tweet right here, which is the one I talked about earlier, this woman is a stone cold racist, because there was a video that was posted out about her, And the stuff that she tried to speak it into subliminals, but if you could read between her code speak, she was basically saying some very racist stuff. And you had people backing her up with this post right here. This person says they are violent toward anyone they can beat. The only time they're not violent is when they're afraid to get beaten. And I already said that in the previous post. And this person right here, what they did was they put a rectangle around the type of people that he was describing in that chart. Like when I be talking, I be trying to avoid the divestors, but sometimes I kind of troll them a little bit. I don't go to their page and actually look for them because I don't, but I say certain things. Like when I said, I kid you not, when I had said that the divestors are basically the Karens of the black community, that was basically a dig back at them when they said black men are the white men of the community. Hey, they did it first. I'm knocking back. And that post stayed pretty divest free for a couple of days, and then like a couple of days later, then that's when the divestors found out about it because the post, when it retweets, it makes its rounds, and then that's when they started to try to come for me and whatnot. But that's fine because what I ended up doing was I ended up tagging some people who agree with me into those posts, and then it was almost like a war zone there when I said that those divestors found me. And I said, looks like I'm gonna have to get some repellent. And that's exactly what I went. I went and got some people and they went in on them. That's one good thing I like about Twitter. If you have a good solid base around you and people really are into what you have to say, it's very little people are going to try to do to get away with as far as attacking your mentions. Now, this is the last thing I wanted to talk about right here. This is the very last thing I'm going to talk about on my stream today. And this came across my way like late last night. If y'all follow me on Twitter, y'all know what I'm about to talk about. So, in case y'all have not heard, the J community has pulled a major finesse on Nick Cannon. And it pretty much lets you know how they get down. And I've talked about this before in plenty of videos. I said a major finesse. Shout out to Stephanie for the donation. A major finesse. I have done many videos in the past expressing how much the J community has the biggest welfare kings and queens. Now, did they really need this money? This is also how power works. Speak truth to power. Make you feel bad about it. Bow down, kowtow, then donate. Now, here's the tweet right here. Moved by what he saw, Cannon, as in Nick Cannon, generously made a pledge to donate his first paycheck from the Masked Singer to support the Simon Wiesenthal Center's ongoing work of fighting anti-Semitism and hate. Now, this is coming from the same group of people that tell people not to receive handouts and to not be lazy and everything like that. But they weaseled Nick Cannon into donating one of his paychecks from a show he hosts to them, as if they don't have enough money already. And my thing is, it says to fight anti-Semitism and hate. So you need money to do that? That's why I said when it came to Nick Cannon, I said him apologizing was pointless because they're going to stay on him. I said that. I said that last week when it first, went out there. And this happened on the 21st, this week. They're going to be on him now. Like I said, he is marked. He is marked. They're never going to let him live that down. Remember, this is coming from the same group of people who every time I do a video talking about welfare fraud, especially in the tri-state area like New Jersey and New York, they are usually a group that's always attached to it. I'm talking about racking up millions of dollars in welfare fraud. But see, because of who they are, they have a way to make it go away. You don't hear them be brought up on any charges. They may be brought up on charges, but them charges quickly get dropped and everything. That's why I said this is more than what they're making it out to be now. This is now, in my opinion, extortion. Which is illegal, by the way, but with them, they'll find a way to make it legal. No one else can do it but them. And then when I was reading the comments of the original post, you had people in there saying, "Thank you, Nick Cannon. You're such a wonderful person." When just a week or so ago, "Oh, I hate you, Nick Cannon. You're the worst person ever. You're anti-Semitic." But the minute he gave up that check, "Oh my God, Nick Cannon, you're like the best person ever." And then you had some people saying, "I don't think that's good enough." In other words, they want more money. That's why I say he would have been better off not apologizing. He should have stood firm on the square because they were going to come after him anyway. And they did. And they won't stop. You're right, Alana. They are collecting reparations, but they'll claim that it's not reparations. I don't know. They'll try to mask it as some other word to say that it's not, and then try to turn around and say we don't deserve it. Like I said, what he said was not even remotely wrong. He was correct with what he said, but they shook him, they spooked him, and he had to bow down and bend the knee and kiss the ring. But I'm just showing you this because it shows you how they get down. They run their stuff like it's an extortion ring. You say speak truth to power, they get upset. All they got to do is say anti-Semitism. They make you beg and grovel and forgive, and then make you fork over that check, and then all is history. It's a wash, rinse, repeat type of cycle. But then got the nerve to get upset with us when we even mention reparations and say we don't need it. Or as Mitch McConnell said, was it Mitch McConnell saying Obama was our reparations? But it is what it is. All right, y'all. That's what I wanted to. That's pretty much going to wrap up my live stream today. I just wanted to bring all of that to your attention. I'm glad that everybody came through. Everybody, shout out to everybody that came through today. Shout out to everybody who donated. Of course, we will be back to our regularly scheduled programming. Oh yeah, watch out for my next Triple P. Those of you who follow me on Twitter, I said I just recorded a Triple P yesterday on someone I have not talking about or spoken about on my channel in well over a year. And I do mean well over a year. But when I found out about this, I said, oh, y'all gonna be in for a treat. Like when I heard about this, I said, y'all definitely gonna enjoy this one. Shout out to Solo Doe for the donation. Said B1. But man, y'all gonna be happy when y'all hear about this one. I'm either gonna upload it. It's either gonna be tomorrow or Sunday. I'm leaning more towards Sunday because there's a lot of other videos that I have to get out before, but I do want to have it up before the weekend is out. So I'm looking more towards Sunday more so than Saturday. But definitely be on the lookout for that. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Friday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Back to our regular scheduled programming tomorrow. Make sure you follow me on Twitter if you have not done so already, because like I said, the notifications on here are trash, especially when it comes to my channel. But we know we may do with what we have. With that being said, I will talk to you in Terry Jones. Yes, I do have a cash app. It's the $ Torian Rain. As a matter of fact, let me post that in here. That's my cash app right there. But with that being said, y'all have a good day, and I'll talk to you in the next one.